This is our Tech in the Yo, so I'm going to go ahead and mute and you can begin.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Tech in the Yo Tuesday, and we are going to take a look at Google Docs. So there's several ways you can get to it. I prefer just to get on my Google account and go ahead and go to the waffle. I think for me, this is the easiest way. Let me move this out of the way. So if I hit the waffle and I hit docs, it'll bring up a brand new, well, it'll bring up all the docs. So I can find templates here. I could find all my docs, and mine are particularly, oh, they're owned by me is what they're titled. But so we're just gonna go ahead and start with a blank one. So the first thing I always do before anything else is I always title mine. So I'm just gonna call this Google Docs Tech Talk, and I don't know, I guess I'll put in the date. Just so it's a little more explicit. Oops. Okay, so if I want that to be my title, I can go ahead and either retype it or copy it. I prefer just to copy it and paste it. If I want to center it, of course, like any Word document, I come up here to center. Okay, if it's going to be a longer document, and I know it's going to be, and especially for our kids, if it's directions and it's more than one page, I always like to insert page numbers. Kind of helps me keep track of things. So if you go up to insert, and there's a whole bunch of things we can insert, I'm just going to do page numbers, and I have to decide where I want the page numbers. If I want it at the top right, the bottom right, if I want it on the first page, second page, I always do my first page. So I'm going to do page numbers, page 1 and 2 down at the bottom right-hand corner. Notice it puts it in a footer. So I can add other things to the footer if I choose. Today, we're just going to leave it go. So I can click off anywhere, and it'll leave it in my footer. Say I'm doing a document for the kids, and I need the kids to fill in things. And I want columns. I'm going to go up to insert. You do have to click on it for it to work. And I'm going to insert columns as soon as I find it. I just had it. Okay, Tiff, where am I going? Oh, table, okay.
You're right.
I'm like, I know I just saw it. So I'm going to insert a table. It's going to ask me how I want it, 1 by 1, 4 by 1, whatever. I'm just going to do, I don't know, 2 by 5, I guess, 2 by 6. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the 2 by 6. I'm going to insert it. It automatically formats it for me. If I want some columns smaller, I go in the middle bar and I make sure it has double arrows, and I just pull it along with me, however big I need it. So if I want, I'm going to call it invertebrates, I guess. So I might list a bunch of animals. So maybe in this column, I want the kids to put if they're invertebrates or not. So they can go ahead and type it in here. That's after I show you how to share everything. So that's a quick, easy column. You can always take and fill in the color if you choose. Maybe I want them green just to bring it to their attention. It's all up to you and how you want it color-coded, non-color-coded, whatever you choose. If I want to insert a picture, say there's something I found online that I want in there, and I want to insert a picture. Again, insert is probably going to be your best friend in the world. So I'm going to go ahead and click insert. I'm going to click image, and I can pick where I want it from. I can upload it from my computer, search the web, my drive, my photos, from my camera, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and search the web just to show you how it works. Notice it comes up in your right-hand corner, and just say I want a picture of a starfish. So I'm going to type in research, hit starfish, pick whatever picture I choose. It's going to say one selected, so I'm going to click insert. And then you can highlight it or click on it and make it however big or small you want it. If I don't want it to the left, I just go ahead and take my centering tools or my...
Can I stop you for a second?
Yep.
The one thing I want to remind everybody is that you always want to pull from the corners. If you do not pull from the corners, if you pull from the middle blue squares, it's going to distort your pictures. So if you do that, there's a back button that she's going to hit right there on the left, and it will take you back. The other thing that I like now is that underneath the picture, you have some choices. The middle one allows the text to go around the pictures. The first one will not let that happen. So just make sure that you know that those are some options that.
Okay. Thank you. So however you want to insert the picture, wherever you want it. Okay. If you want to insert a video, again, it's the same way. It's insert. Tiff, it's the same way as images, right?
Go ahead and search. Hit search the web. And then go over there.
I'm going to do video. Maybe I want the Magic School Bus.
You just have to remember that you're limited on what options come up here.
Right.
That it's not always
what you want.
What you want. You may have to go out, and sometimes I copy and paste what I want. These are all images that are free to use and share. That's why those certain ones come up.
Okay, so I'm just going to pick a video of a bus. I know I just saw one. So if that's the video I want, then I can insert it. Again, I can adjust the size from the corners. A lot of times I just like to take the link from YouTube and place it in here instead. It just all depends on what you are looking for specifically. So don't be afraid to do something and then it's not right. You can always come back up here and undo it. So if that's not the video I like, I can always come up here and hit delete. For our sakes right now in the time, I'm just gonna let it go. If there's a link I want, and I already know what it is, this little paper clip, all I have to do is click on it and it'll paste in a link or search a link. So if I want something from YouTube, going to click on it, and I can always add the it's going to take me right to the link. Okay, so if I want this video, I'm going to click share, and I'm going to copy it. Go ahead, what? I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to call it Ocean Waves. If I apply it, notice it just says my words Ocean Wave, but if I click on it, it has that link already attached to it, and it'll go right to those ocean waves. I figured we're all sick of looking at the rain, so we might as well put some ocean waves in there. Put that to my left just so to make it easier. Okay, special characters. So a lot of you teach other subjects that might need a special character, might need a math equation. It's all under the insert, so it's either special characters or equations, depending on who you are, what you want. There's fun things like arrows in here. So you might put an arrow for the kids so they know to go up or down or whatever you want. If you want them bigger, you can highlight them and change the font size. It all depends on what you're looking for. They're only going to go where you insert them, so if you need them to go further out, you might have to push the space button or the space key. You might want to make them smaller. I don't know. It all depends on what you're looking for and where you have the directions and what you're trying to tell the kids. Okay. So special characters. Tiff, page breaks, that's just insert, right?
Yeah, if you, why don't you tell them how to share first, and then I'll go over that a little bit, then the reason why.
Okay, all right. So there's different ways to share. So in the top right-hand corner, there's the share button. Notice right now this says private only to me, so I'm the only one that has this document. If I want to share it, I'm going to click on the share. And say I want to share it with Tiffany and Rachel. If I send it just like this with the pencil, I'm giving them the rights to edit. So they could do whatever they want to my document. Okay. If I send it as can comment, they can only put comments in the comment bar. And if I only want them to view it so they can read it and can't alter anything, you just click can view. So it all depends on what you want. Normally with my team, I always click can edit. This way, if I mess up something or I forgot something, they can add to it. So I find that most useful, but if I'm sending it to, maybe you're sending it to your administrator, maybe you only want them to be able to view it. They're not allowed to change it. They can just view it. The other nice thing on it is get a shareable link. So this is my favorite, especially for edit. I can get this link and I just want to share the link with them. And notice it says can view only. If I want them to be able to edit, I can change it here. So when I copy the link, let me send it to them. So when I go ahead and copy the link and I want to paste it, so I'm going to right click and paste. Notice it says sharing. Well, maybe I don't want them to share my document or be able to write on my document, and I'm going to force them to do a copy of it and they can write on their own. So you highlight everything, as long as it says edit, you highlight everything before that first slash, or before that last slash. I should say after that last slash, and type the word copy. So if you click on it, well, if they clicked on it, I should say, the only thing they can do is make a copy of my document. They can't do anything else with it. They can't alter it in any way. And that's a nice feature for our kids, is when I want them to do something on Google Classroom, sometimes I just make a copy of, or all my coworkers had to fill out a form for whatever reason, you know, if they needed ink or whatever for their printers at the time, I would just send them a copy of this form and they'd send me their own copy back, so their names were already on it. Hey, Tiff, is that it? Am I missing? I mean, I know I have revision history and citation, but.
Yeah, so Linda's asking if you can put a video from Brain Pop in there. And yes, you can. And we will show you that in 1 second, Linda. Okay. I want to cover one other thing first. The only thing that I want to say is that when she goes back up to the share button, can you click on that again?
Absolutely. Oops, sorry.
Where she has where she does that share with anyone link where it says can edit, I never have that say can edit, just so you know, because that does not change. I always leave that to can view, and then I only give individuals the authority to change my documents. So I'm a little bit opposite of Andrea. I don't want anybody changing anything that I have unless I specifically have their names at the bottom. And you can see under where it says people, you can see my name and Rachel's name as to the two people that she actually shared with that have editing rights. Everybody else, I would only give viewing rights to. So that's just something that I like to do.
Right. I only do that if I'm forcing the copy, because you have to do it from that edit mode.
Right. So the other thing that I wanted to say is that I put in the agenda page breaks. So we had a conversation with a couple people to be ADA compliant. And if you guys are sharing these documents where you want to post them on the web, and if you have anybody that has any kind of visual disability, there were two things that I wasn't doing, because basically I taught myself how to do Word. I didn't take a class in college. I was never a secretary. I didn't know a couple of these things. One of these things is, if you can scroll up to the top, Andrea, if she selects her title, she needs to go over to where it says normal text. So, and you see over right there, she needs to actually pick that and choose heading, because when the computer would read this to her, it would then read the word heading and then read whatever is below it. So you want to make sure that your headings are actually headings. The second thing is, when you're making a table, like she made the table, and this is only if you're going to share this on the web. This is not if you're going to share this with your students. This is not a fear, but I know some people now want to put their stuff on the web. One of the things you can do is, if I created a table and I don't have enough spaces in my table, can you click next to Starfish, Andrea? Right click. If you right click in that first column, it says insert a row above or below, or columns, or whatever you want. So I'm going to have her insert a row above. And then I want her to take her title, invertebrates and non-invertebrates, and put it inside of the table. No, on the other side, where you want them to write the words. And then she's going to go over to that normal text again, and I want her to make it a heading. Because when this is going to be read to them, it will read heading and then read the things that are below it. So then the person will know that that's a heading, and I would change your font size maybe a little bit. And then they would know that they would have to put that below it. So using the word heading is actually very important, and I just want everybody to be aware of that. The second thing is that I talked about was page breaks. Well, when I taught myself Word, I would get to the end of something and hit enter, 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 enter until I get to the next page. That's just what I taught myself to do. So if I went below Starfish, where you see her cursor, I would go up to that insert a page break. And that means everything that comes after, it says break, yep, and then page break, right there. Yep, click on it. It means everything below that is going to go to the next page. Now, what I didn't know, and maybe this was just me, is if you go back up under the starfish now, and you hit enter, 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 enter again, okay, and you type something, just type hello. If she scrolls down, because she hit page break, nothing on her second page moved. Before, I used to have to insert stuff and then hit backspace, 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 and take it out and move the stuff up on the second page. So I personally was never taught Word. I taught myself. These are just a couple things that if something is reading a screen to them, it will take them to the next page. It won't read all those enter, 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 because a screen reader actually reads every time you hit enter with your cursor. So you just want to, yeah, you just want to make sure that you use that page break. It's important.
Okay, and then the other, my favorite though too, under file is revision history. So if I want to see what other people added or you know, changed on my document, or what I changed because maybe I messed up and accidentally deleted the whole thing, I go up to file and hit version history, and I want to see my version history. It's going to show my current, it's going to show the date I started, and it's just the blank document, and then it goes to the next one of the document we've been using. And then if Tiffany added something, then it would, you know, show her name with a different color next to it, a different color dot. So I would know exactly what she added or didn't add. So I'm going to refresh that. I'm going to go back to version history, see the version. So notice Tiffany's is in a different color. So if I scroll down, so mine is all in teal, and whatever Tiffany added is now in purple. So you can tell who added what to the documents. That's like my favorite thing to do, especially when things get messed up. Okay, and then the last thing, Tiff, we have citations, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
You want to stop sharing your screen?
I could do that. Okay, did I?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we are on the Google Docs, and the other thing that I wanted you to know that I love is I can see who's on this right now. The other thing about version history that she was talking about that I loved a lot is that you can actually see, if you have the students working on a project, what each student did in that version history. That's the other reason why I really like to use that, is that you can actually see what each student does and which part of the assignment that they actually worked on themselves. So one of the things that you may want to work on your students with is citations. We have a very hard time of our students taking stuff from the internet and not giving anybody credit for anything. So if we have students that are going to insert, you're going to see, under tools, you're going to see that you have this explore option. Really love this. It lets you do a lot of things. Now, because I have starfish in here, it already gives me some things that I might want to have, images, topics. So if I type in starfish, because I'm looking for information on starfish, okay, maybe I want to use this information, and I'm just going to copy and paste, because, you know, our students like to copy and paste. But when you do this, because I'm pulling it from Wikipedia, you'll see right here you have these little quotes, because this is where I'm getting it from, is this Wikipedia. It's the first one. If I click on these little citations, it actually adds a footnote in of where they got the information on the internet. And I believe it's you can choose the type, I believe, of It's MLA, the format that you want. You can make them do APA, Chicago. I don't think we're that specific in elementary or middle school. Maybe in high school, they decide they want a certain type of compliance, but it's very, very important that our students know that they should be citing where they got the pictures from. Where did this happen? You know what I'm saying? So if I go down here and I hit the one there, it adds the starfish, and it's in there, and it actually adds the link, you can see, to where the picture came from. So if you hit the little plus and you add it, it actually adds the information of where they're getting their pictures and words and information from, which is very important, especially because everybody steals everything. But like I said, even when you use this, the only information that Google is going to give you inside of here is information that is free to use and share. And I don't know if anybody has ever just gone out to Google and you said, I want a starfish, and you search. You have an option for images. So if I go to images, you also have this settings option. And under the settings in the advanced search, here's where you have what the rights. This is not filtered. When I go out to Google and I look for a picture, there it is never filtered. So something that I can use can come back on me if I do not choose free to use or share. So if I pick free to use and share and hit advanced, you'll see some of my images have changed and my options have changed. And right up here under the bottom, which is something else that I love, you can say, I want a starfish that's yellow. It will give you yellow starfish. I can say, I want a large starfish, and it will now give me only large starfish. I hit any size. This is one of my favorite search tools, just so you know. I know we're a little off the Google Docs, but this is something, but you need to know, and especially your students, what is free to use and share. And if they're in that Google Doc, sometimes they're like, well, that's not the picture I want. But those are the pictures and images that are free to use and share. And so is this information down here. Like there's 12 facts. If they click on the 12 facts and they decide that they want to quote something from this, they can get some of this information and then go back, and then they will be able to cite the information in the bottom. And you'll see now I have a 1 and a 2 because I have two places where I have added quotes from. If they don't want it, if I just hit this delete this one, you'll see that it deletes it at the bottom. So if you find a piece of information that you don't want, you just hit delete and it will take out your citation for you.
Tiff, go back to images real quick. Let's show them the transparent one, because sometimes, that gets in our way too.
Which transparent one?
So if we want a transparent image, so you know how you brought up your images before you did an image search, and then it gave you choice.
I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you finish that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the one thing she was saying is you can insert images. Well, one of my favorite new things that I just found out not too long ago is that if you insert an image, oops, wrong one. So from the web, say I want to do my starfish again. You notice it says like drawings, clip art, and I'm going to write transparent background. I'm going to click on it. It'll show me starfish and there's no background. I could just put the starfish in without having all that background. And then I can re-image the size. So I know some of you like to do clip art in the real, picture of whatever, but you don't necessarily like the background. If you do, transparent background, it'll give you just the object without all the background. So that's all I wanted to add. Does anyone have any questions for us? I know, Tiff, you said you had one.
Yeah, Rachel, did you want to say something?
I was going to say the only thing that if you could add how to give feedback via comments and maybe how to direct it specifically to certain students.
Yep. So if this is a document that you gave in Google Classroom and you gave everyone one, can you highlight hello, Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
And when she does that, she has the little comment icon over next to the share button, or right there. It pops up right there once you highlight it too. Yeah, hit the plus at the end. I'm sorry. Yep. If she types the plus and somebody's name, you have to put a plus. That way they get a notification. So if you use a plus and then do Rachel Carter, if you just click on her name, and then you'd have to give a comment to her, tell her what you wanted. Now, you also have the choice to assign this to her. So if this is an assignment you want the kids to do, it actually assigns certain parts to do that you have highlight. Or you can just send them a message that this is something that you need to fix. This was something we talked about yesterday in Google Classroom a little bit. So I'm going into Brain Pop.
Movie of the week.
Sorry. Because I want to do a how to add a Brain Pop for Linda Daniels.
And while you're doing that, Tiff, we have a question that says, so the students make a copy of the document in order for them to use the document?
They can, or you can force them to make a copy. It depends on if you're inserting Google Classroom, there's that option that they can each get a copy instead of writing on your original. Or if you email it to them, then you want them to have the link that forces them to do a copy. If that answers the question.
If you're already in Classroom, it will automatically make a copy for them inside of there. So if you're sharing this through Google Classroom as an assignment, you would just choose that make a copy for each student.
Which that was my favorite, because then I don't have to worry about anyone's name being on it when they turned it in.
I don't know if there's any other questions.
You were going to do the, are you doing the Brain Pop?
Yeah, I think the easiest way would probably, and I don't know if Rachel wants to piggyback on this, is through YouTube. If I take the one that I want, because all the Brain Pop videos are in YouTube also. A lot of them.
That makes sense, because then you could embed it if you wanted to.
Yes.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Not at the moment. There was a thank you for answering your last question.
Welcome. Tiff, anything else to add?
No, I'm looking for, I don't know. I don't have anything to know right now without having an add-on. Rachel, what's the best way to embed without an add-on? That's all. Or a link. I think you need an add-on to embed it in a Google Doc. You don't in a slide, but you do in a Google Doc, I believe, because we can make it a link and they can open Brain Pop, which I think, Linda, that would probably be the best bet for you. Is I'm going to go over the word invertebrates. Can you refresh your screen, Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
You can see that invertebrates at the top, the title that she has is now blue underlined, Linda. If you click on that, see, it will take you to the Brain Pop video. that I have attached to it. And I would usually put directions in that would say, click on the video link here. So if you wanted to actually embed a video into, that is something that we've purchased into a Google Doc, I would say you probably want to use Google Slides instead. And are you still sharing your screen, Andrea? Can you stop for a second? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So I just want you guys to see this. I had some teachers share with me what they were doing at MLK. So this is the assignment that they did. If you were looking to embed a video, this is what they did. You can actually embed a video in Google Slides, and this is tomorrow. So they've actually taken for math their worksheets, and it's a video that they've created themselves, and you can embed them right in Google Slides. So if this is something that would work better for you as far as putting videos in, you can see that even for Ellis Island, they have the Brain Pop video, and they have an Ellis Island. It's much easier to do this in a Google Slide than in a Google Doc, because videos embed much easier as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
But if you want to, if this is an assignment that you want kids to fill out, or information or things you want them to do, you may want to present it this way. So our Google Slides, is that tomorrow? Rachel, is that tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, that's tomorrow, and we'll get into more details about that and how embedding the videos and maybe creating a lesson that way and giving it to students would work also. So I can't see if there's any more questions because I'm presenting now, so I'm going to stop sharing.
I don't see any questions at the moment.
Am I sharing my screen?
Actually, there is a question now that says, so is this a better way to embed the panorama books?
I would say I really liked what they did with the 3rd grade over here. They made it very easy, because I don't know if you guys know, yesterday we talked about panorama and how the students get in. They actually just did a screenshot of the title of the book and added these videos on the topics of the book. And then each page, they added information like the vocabulary and what it meant. So, I mean, they even, here's the map, and this is called a diagram. And it goes through this. So this is something that they did that you could have them do before or after. And then the second part of their lesson is their math. So this is one way that they're going to do it. But just so you know, they use Google Slides almost daily to present their information. So this was something now that they're doing for the kids to see it, where before it was something that they used in the front of the class, the Google Slides. But I would say this is a very easy way for students to see information. Okay, well, I hope that helps. Okie dokie. I will see everybody tomorrow, I hope. Bye-bye.